Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and we're just 2 weeks away from the worldwide release of the Gundam card game, starting with their first set, GD01, which I've been really excited about this set. I know a lot of you guys are as well. They've been kind of dropping the new kind of reveals for this set over the last couple weeks on their social media platforms, and this morning they did a full release of the full card set that we're getting for GD01. So I'm super excited about it. I know a lot of you guys are as well, and I think this is just a great time to kind of go over my thoughts of this set in general. So if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe. We're going to be making a lot of Gundam content in the future, and I don't want you guys to miss it. Also, make sure to check out my website, Eggman Events. We've been not only doing a deck builder update for these, but I also do have a Gundam section of the main website, and we are going to be continuing to update that throughout the next couple weeks too. Once I kind of have some better builds, I'm going to have them published on this website here. I don't have any with this meta right now. I have a couple that we're going to look at the end of this video, but they're nothing that I am competent enough to put on to the website itself. I want to do some more testing, but I also know that a lot of people just want a beginner's deck list, are my first thoughts. So that's what there are, and we'll get to those when we get to the end of the video. But if you guys want to check out also any of the cards that have been revealed, or pretty much the entirety of what this game looks like right now, you can go to the Gundam section here and then just go to the deck builder, and we have all of the cards from set 1 as well as the first 4-star decks here, so you guys can check that out. And we also do have a proxy printer, so just build the deck that you want to make, and then if you go to the gear icon, you can go to the proxies and it will generate a PDF, which will be empty because we got nothing right now. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. If you have any questions or if you see any mistakes, let me know, but let's just jump on into it. So I think like kind of the best way to go over these cards are just kind of focusing on the LRs for this set in general, compared to like other Bandai card games where there's a little bit of a stronger identity of what the deck looks like, whether it be like a leader or like Digi-Eggs or something like that. We don't really have an identity outside of kind of like what kind of units you're playing, what kind of pilots you're playing, your two-color identity, but it can get pretty up in the air a lot of the time. So I think just kind of going over the LRs and like why they work and kind of the archetypes that they represent is kind of the best way to do so. So with this set, we do have 3 new LRs for every color, so including the star decks. We do have 20 LRs in this game. We're just going to go down the line with the blue ones and just kind of talk about cards that we're thinking about with it already. And again, at the end, you can check the timestamps. We will have some basic example decks kind of implementing some of these as well. But generally speaking, I don't think that these are just cards that, are infinitely splashable, right? I think in this game, we are very kind of dependent on our combos or kind of what our link pilots look like. And I think that's what's going to be more of the identity of these decks than necessarily the cards on the top end, but it'll probably be a little bit of half and half. So anyways, jumping on into it, we've got Gundam RX-78-2. So this is kind of like an upgrade or like a side grade of the Gundam LR that we get from the first starter deck. So all your white-based teams get Repair 1. So this also includes this card, so it does have Repair 1 natively. And also when paired, if you have 2 or more other units in play, you get to draw 1. So that's actually not too bad of a case to be able to get some draws. It means that you can go wide early, and then you can, link it here. You get a repair with a lot of your units, and it kind of rewards you for being kind of more wide with kind of like healthier units too, which is kind of like the entirety of this kind of white-based team archetype, right? The idea that we have this repair, we have some units that have high HP, and that we are really good at repairing them so we can, go 2 for 1, right? I think kind of the name of the game a lot of the times is that if you can go 2 for 1 for a couple times, you will get a lot of value from doing so. So if you look over here, there's a lot of like new white-based team characters and units, I guess pilots and units too. I think like the only issue is that there aren't like a lot of like level 1 units. There are a good amount of like there's only really one level 2 either. They're mostly level 3 units, right? So we got Gun Tank, right, which was pretty strong I think during the beta format. I think it's kind of cooled off a little bit, but can still be good. But this is like the cheapest unit that does have the white based team thing. So for the Repair 1, that is a little bit different. But then also we do have like the gun cannon. I really do like this card, and I think it's a card that's really strong for this deck in general. The fact that it has Repair 1, and I would have to double check. I think you can get 2 instances of Repair 1 across both this and the other Gundam, so it can repair 2 every turn, which is really nice. We do also have like the kind of general cards that we've been seeing from the set, and then we also do have like the G Sky Easy. So during link activate action once per turn, You can choose one unit, recovers 1 HP. So this is on either player's turn during the action step once per turn, which is kind of nice, right? Especially for like a 1/3 kind of stat line, you get to get some really good healing with it as well. So something that's just kind of worth it, I think. I don't think like this archetype has like a really good like late game engine, but it's like a real good like middle value engine where you just make a lot of these bodies that are really hard for your opponent to remove. You get a lot of like good 2-for-1 trades or something, and then by the end of the game, like your opponent won't have any units and you've got a good amount. So I think that is something that's really strong. I do think that I wish that there was like a better like late game like big target to use, like, right, we only have like these level 4s and then one level 5, which is this Gundam MA form, but I do think that it's still like a cool little archetype in its own way. It's just like not, it's flexible for what it is, but I also think it doesn't have like a lot of synergy with the other half of Star Deck 1, which we'll talk about, so you're gonna have to kind of choose one side or the other. But I do think that it's a good card. It's just I also feel like it's competing from a little bit of like the the Gundam that we already get from the deck, but I don't know, drawing one is really, really good. So there it is. Next up, a card that I'm a little bit more excited about. I really wish that wing is good, and I'm not saying that it's not, and I think that there is a chance for it to be good, but I think this card is really, really cool, right? Just the fact that it's also like kind of like the pack card for this set, right? It has to be kind of a little bit cool, but it's this Unicorn Gundam Destroy mode. So it's a level 7, cost 6, and it has a little bit of, I'd say, underwhelming stats of a 5/4 with AP 5 and HP 4. But when playing this card from your hand, you may destroy one of your link units with Unicorn mode in its card name that is level 5. If you do, you can play this card as if it has 0 level and cost. So that's kind of good, right? And the fact that you can just do this whenever, right? So the fact that you can use this if it has 0 level means that you can technically like do it turn 1, right? You're probably not going to, but it is kind of a neat way to get this kind of link with it. The previous cards that we've seen from like the Unicorn side is the copies of the Bonager links, which this pilot is pretty good, right? It's a +2/+2, and then when you link with it, you get to draw 1, which is really, really nice. But you also have the Unicorn stuff as well. So again, for this card, it has to be something with Unicorn mode in its name. So you have to be this one, unfortunately. But we also have this other Unicorn mode, right? The Unicorn Gundam O2 Banshee Unicorn mode, which is cyber new type trait for its linking, and which unfortunately Bonager links is just a new type. It is not a cyber new type. But for this, what you can do with the Unicorn mode is that during link destroyed, return this unit's paired pilots to its owner's hand, and then you get to discard 1. So kind of the combo you get to do with this is that you can, play this, use Bonager, you get to attack as a 6. You also get to draw a card with the Bonager links effect, and then you can go straight into this card right afterwards. You get to put the Bonager links back to your hand, and then you can just link with it again as long as you have the cost for it, and then you get another draw, and then you have a 7/6 that also rests something on attack. So it's not like a bad combo, and I think that's really strong. You also get it with the cyber new type trait here, so there is kind of like this 50/50 like archetype, which is kind of interesting too. So we also have the Unicorn Gundam O2 Banshee Destroy mode. So this is the other blue LR, but during link attack, choose 12 cards from your trash, return them to their owner's deck, and then shuffle it. If you do, set this unit to active, and it gains first strike during this turn. So this does let you attack twice in one turn, which I do think can be really good. Worst case, it's like first strike twice, so you could do like a 2-for-1 trade immediately. But what it links with is Merida Cruz, which is not a blue card, and I really actually kind of appreciate them doing this as well. So there are a couple of like these link units that are not the same color, so it kind of like makes you run these like multicolored decks. So for Merida, so this is a cyber new type trait card, which is also really important. During link attack, choose one enemy unit whose level is equal to or lower than this unit, and you get to deal 1 damage to it. So that can help you like get some early game cleanup, right? You can still use the Unicorn mode for specifically the O2 Banshee. So if you're at level 4, you can play 3 and then play the Merida here. You get to get this pair to choose an enemy with 3 or less. You get to rest it. You can attack into it, something like that. But you can still just go from here into the destroy mode whenever. You just won't be able to link it. You don't get the recycle with Marita as you do with Bonager. But I think it just like shows like some really cool combos that you get to do, and I really appreciate these cards kind of existing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with it. I'm really looking forward to building like a red and blue deck, especially since those are like two colors that didn't exist for one of the star decks, right? We had two color combination pairs that didn't exist, green and white and red and blue. So having like this main deck support for this blue and red kind of deck identity, I think is really cool. So it's one that I'm really looking forward to building and doing a little bit more testing with. But that's kind of the idea for Unicorn. It just kind of works more on like the cyber new type trait stuff, which also could be with like the full frontal. But again, there's so many like weird parallels for deck building, which I think is really cool. So those are the blue ones. We're going to go to green real quick. We've got the Char's Gelgoog here, or Shelgoog. I'm never going to say this right. I know every time this card's in one of my videos, there's someone in my comments saying, oh, you said it wrong, and I will not. I'm trying my best, I promise. It's just going to take a while. But this is a pretty good LR. So activate main, discard one Xeon or Neo Xeon unit card. If a pilot is not paired with this unit, choose one new type pilot that is level 3 or lower from your trash, and you get to pair it with this unit. So clearly like one of the best targets for this is Char, right? It's a level 3, just being able to get the link with it, and then also the AP +1 and high maneuver. It's just generally the one that you want, but it also just means that this deck has a lot of consistency for being able to just find a way to get this to get rush. It's a 5 AP, 6 AP with Char, with when attacking effect that also has high maneuver, which is just really tough for I think your opponent to really deal with. So I think the fact that this card is so flexible, as long as you find one copy of Char, right, that is a really, really strong way to do that. It has to be level 3 or lower and new type, right? So there's the cross section of that for right now is not very big, but Char is just like the one that you want for it, and it works great with it. So I think that's important. Other than that, like we don't really have that much like support for like the on the LR side from like the Xeon stuff, but I do think that there is a lot that you can do from upgrading the green and red star deck as well. We've seen Char's Zaku 2 from the beta format already. A lot of these kind of cards existed as well. I do think like there's like another kind of link pair here with the Giant and the M-Cube. I'm never going to say that right either, but being able to get these kind of interaction with blockers is really great for a deck that's supposed to be really aggressive. And then we do have like the Zanzibar. This card is actually really interesting too. So burst, you get to deploy this card, but also deploy, add one shield from your hand, one of your shields to your hand. Then if it's your turn, you may deploy one Xeon unit card that is level 4 or lower from your hand. So I haven't really messed with this card as much, but being able to say I played a base that also plays out a unit is really nice. And the fact that it only costs 2. So there are some like weird scenarios. For example, like this card costs 4, or I could play Zanzibar and then it costs 2, and then I can link it naturally with something, right? Like it's not as like makes it less expensive, and lets you really get some like cost reduction, so you can really swarm the board, which is really nice. So even like using it for like goof to be able to play this out, and then it plays another unit token, even though it's from your hand, so like you're drawing less, the fact that the base draws a card already kind of makes it worth it at times. So it's one that I have to do some more exploration with, but it's really interesting from idea for that as well. So but most of this deck is kind of like focused more on like low to the ground aggro. There are some like larger cards though, for the green and red, including the Big Zam, being able to have a breach 4, and then also deploy if there are 10 or more Xeon or Neo Xeon unit cards in your trash, deal 4 damage to all units with blockers. So it's a really interesting card. It's either going to be like really relevant, or no one's playing enough blockers for this card to be very good, and it's a little bit of a late game card in a deck that wants to be more aggressive and low to the ground. But it's Big Zam. You gotta respect the Big Zam. So I think that the like shows like there could be like a like more high end build. Like there's also like the Shamblo for red, so which is a Xeon card which needs a new type or cyber new trait, so it does work with Char as also full frontal. So the fact that this card can work for both of them. But attack if 2 or more other rested friendly units are in play, choose one enemy unit and you get to deal 3 damage to it. So it's an interesting card. I don't know if it's too expensive for what the deck wants to do, but I do think it's worth mentioning as well. So other than that, I think that like it's pretty clear that red and green is you have to play like the Xeon and Neo Xeon, and it's hard to do any deck inside that kind of color combination without respecting that. But Char's just like this is the closest thing to this game having a card with rush, right? we don't really have it outside of this. Anything else like requires like 2 specific cards for you to be able to get an attack on the turn you play it, and this is like you just have to have 1 card in your hand, and then you have to find a char earlier, which is not too difficult to do, I think, especially with 4 copies from what we've been seeing. So I think the card is good. I think it's definitely in your Xeon aggro deck, and we're going to look at an example build from there. So the other 2 green cards are more focused on kind of the Operation Meteor, the Wing Gundam stuff, even though this is Wing Gundam 0, so this is part of the G team, but not Operation Meteor, but whatever. It's the highest level card that we have in the game right now. I don't think there's any level 9s. I think it's tied with some a couple things, but level 8, cost 8. High maneuver, just outright, and then also on deploy you get to deal 3 damage to all units that are level 5 or lower. So that's pretty great to be able to have this effect that lets you like clear out a lot of the board in a lot of these situations. The fact that also it has a link with hero, which makes it a 8/9, I think, if I'm remembering right. It's a +3/+2, so yeah, an 8/9 body is unheard of in this game, right? That's like the largest stat line that I think we'll see for a long time, right? Nothing's really approaching double digits quite yet. So that aside, I think that this card can be great for like a late game build. I do think that the Wing Gundam stuff is kind of like a mid-range combo, but it does mean that this is something that's really worth ramping to, which we didn't really have for green yet, right? We had all these tools to ramp to you, but we would ramp to a level 6 Wing Gundam, and which is good, but not good enough to justify, you know, spending turns to ramp in general. And I think this is a great card to do so as well. So we have that. We also have the Death Scythe. This is Duo's Gundam here, and I do think that this is, you know, a lot of people were really excited about this. This is definitely a fan favorite character. It has this effect that I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if it's good or if like the builds I've been trying it is just kind of janky, but when paired, Operation Meteor Pilot, place 1 rested resource. So you get to ramp 1. So you just take 1 from your resource deck and you get to put it onto the field. And then this unit gains first strike during this turn. So being able to ramp is nice. Being able to have first strike. The issue is that like you have to like, it has to be with duo. Like the fact that you when paired Operation Meteor is fine, but you only get first strike the turn you use it for, which means that if you use like a hero to put it underneath here, you get the ramp but nothing else. You don't get the turn to attack the turn you play it, and you also don't get like the first strike effect because it's only during the first turn. So it's not bad. Like this is like a good card if you are actually like actively trying to ramp to 0 outright, but it's sometimes like a little bit clunky, I find. But I do think like the duo, you know, the pilot is good too for this deck as well. The fact that I wish there's like more like mix and match with like the Operation Meteor cards, but duo, you know, during link this unit's AP can't be reduced by enemy effects, so that's kind of a key identity for white right now. So if you're trying to play, if that deck's really meta, that means that you can get this additional effect. I also do like having like the +2 HP as well, so even if you're in like just the regular Wing Gundam with the duo there, you become a 5/7, which is fantastic for attacking into bases. The fact that like this ability lets you breach 5, and like there's like it's a good like secondary pilot, I feel like, to the deck as well. So I'm definitely going to see some Operation Meteor. I think like Wing Gundam specifically is going to be like mostly green, and then you can choose whatever color you want to pair with it, but you're just so dedicated to like all these green cards that it's difficult for you to really have pilots for like other colors as well, which I think is fine. I think it's fine to have like more monocolor decks, but we'll see kind of what those kind of look like as well. But I do think from like doing a lot of building, a lot of testing over the last couple hours and days before this too, it's just like, man, the 50 cards is not a lot. There's not a lot of room when, you know, you have to have like 8 pilots. You should probably have like 6 bases, right? Like that's already 14 cards, and you're like, man, I got to put my units in. There's not that much space for you to get the cards that you need in the deck sometimes, and so you kind of have to rein in the combos that you're trying to do. But I think that green has some really cool plays. We'll see the deck that I have brewed up. It's still a green-blue deck because it's based off Starter Deck 2, but there it is. Moving on to red, we've got a couple LRs, and most of them are with the Zaft. We do have this Neo Xeon one. So this is also just another thing that Marita Cruz links with. So she gets 2 in this LR group, which I think is really interesting. But when paired with a Cyber New Type or just New Type pilot, you get to choose 1 to 2 enemy units, and you get to deal 1 damage to them. So dealing damage is good. And then also we saw Marita as well earlier. Her just being able to deal damage to what? anything to his one enemy. So like you can do like 3 damage. Like you can do like a 2 damage, 1 damage kind of split. Well as like attacking the turn that you play it. So I think that's pretty good. There's a lot of like this focus on having this red and white deck with these two specifically. Or sorry, red and blue deck. Sorry, with the Wing Gundam also kind of like typing overlap. So I think it's a good card. I'd say like it's not flashy, but it gets the job done, right? And if you're trying to get to the late game, and this turns into a what, right? This is a +2/+1. This turns into a 7/5, which I think there's kind of like a bit of a health total gap at like 7 that you can really do some good trades. Of course, you can also bring things down to 1 or 2. So it's a little bit unfortunate because like 7 AP is a lot. Like it's kind of a little bit overkill. It would have been nice if it had like a little bit more HP, but yeah, it does a lot of damage, I find, and it's going to be tricky to not just like get one hit KO'd by this card too. So no, again, nothing too flashy, but it also pairs with Cyber new type. So this also does work with Full Frontal, which is from the the red green deck too. So there could be like some kind of like red green like Xeon, like just kind of more high end with the Shinaju and also the Kishira. So that can be good just because this also does link with the card. So that is kind of like an interesting interaction there. So we'll see. We'll see what the best way to use this card is. We also have Dual Gundam Assault Shroud. So this is for Yizak. And again, I'm trying my best, I promise. But when paired, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may deploy 1 Zaf unit type character that is level 4 or lower among them, and then return the rest to the bottom of your deck. This card is going to make people mad. I just know it, right? Top 3 is really not that much. Like, let's say like 50% of your deck is units that consider this, right? Which you can't include itself, right? Then like you have like a good chance to still miss because there's just so many non-units that could be on the top 3 of your deck. So I think like top 5 might have been like too much, but I feel like top 3 is like not enough. You really have to like only build like a low end Zaft unit deck, which can exist, but I do think that it's a little bit tough to get this consistently sometimes. Or I know like playing out like a unit from the top of your deck, like that's drawing a card and being able to play it is really good. I'm not going to deny, and I just wish that there's a way to like stack the top card, right? So but we do have this link here for like a 1/1 when an enemy link unit is destroyed or damage with damage while this unit is attacking, you get to draw 1. So it has to be a link, so it's a little bit expensive. It's tough to get that consistently, but you'll take a draw 1 in this game. The draw 1s are really expensive, so any ways you can do it, you'll take it. And this turns into a 5/5, which is good enough, right? Being able to get rid of most bases as a 5 AP is good enough. So we'll see if this is either like cheese and not like worth it, or it's going to be really good and it's going to be everywhere. And then you're still going to miss every once in a while, and I'm going to hear like, oh, I had the game and then my Dual Gundam missed its top 3 and I lost the game. And I know, I understand. So, and then lastly, we got Buster Gundam. So this is a level 4 Zaft unit, so this could be played off the Dual Gundam that we just talked about. This one right here, but we do have actually main has support 3, so and then also so you could boost something up pretty good, especially like in a deck like this where you're able to put like a bunch of like 1 drops on the board. Being able to crank it up to like a 4 or 5 AP is really helpful for getting those good trades. But also during pair with a coordinator pilot, once per turn when this unit support to increase, you get to set this as active. So either you get to like support it twice essentially, right? Or you're able to support something, set it active, and then you get to attack with it again. So I think this actually is really really good for being able to get some good value, right? The fact that you can like attack and then like into a shield and then restand and then give support, right? There's just a lot of ways for you to be able to get this cheeky like double attack or double power up kind of effect, right? So you can even like support 2 different things in the same turn, right? Like you can play it, you can support, you can pair it, and then you can support another thing, right? Or you can attack with it. I think that is really nice. So the only thing is obviously it doesn't have a lot of AP by itself, but when 1 damage does a lot of damage by itself, that's really nice. We also do have the link with it, which is the Dirka here. So when linked, you get to discard 1 if you do draw 1. So any way that you can like cycle cards through your hand is good enough, right? I think most people will realize that there are a lot of cards in this game that are really good, but also very situational. And if the situation that you needed the card has passed or won't come to fruition, you can definitely take that discard draw one. So not a +1, but you'll take the cycle. It's just with only with link cards, but you can link it with certain cards that care about this, like the Zap trait. So I think the Zap stuff is really interesting in red. I'm curious to see how good it ends up being in the first place. But it looks like a little bit like mid-ranger version of like the Xeon stuff, but it doesn't feel like it plays necessarily as many bodies. So I don't know what the best way to play this is, but it's really interesting. And those are the red SRs there. So to wrap up the LRs, we do have the white ones. So we got Freedom Gundam, blocker during pair once per turn. When you pair a pilot with this unit or one of your white units, choose one enemy unit. It gets AP -2 during this turn. So the fact that you can just continually give this AP -2 as long as you have pilots is really nice, I think, for this deck. Being able to just get that continuous minus helps you. The fact that you're a good blocker is good. The fact that we have Kira, so Kira can give a -2 as well. So if you link it with Kira the turn that you play it and you attack, you can give something essentially AP -4, which just means that this card's not getting affected at all, which is really, really nice. So there is already just a lot of support for blocker cards in this game already too. So this is, I think, has the chance to be one of the strongest blockers that just exist. With Kira, it becomes a 5/7 with any unit that buffs 2 HP, like an 8 HP blocker seems really obnoxious, especially when you are able to get like some AP minus and get some advantage there. So like if Archangel's on the board, I feel like this card is really good at being able to help you there. It's also got the Triple Ship Alliance trait, which is helpful for some of these cards that we're talking about in a little bit. So really cool card, and I think worth running for sure. We also do have the Justice Gundam, so also level 7, cost 5. It has a deploy 1 Fathom 00 Triple Ship Alliance AP2 HP2 blocker unit token, and then also during pair, when you attack, choose one of your Triple Ship Alliance unit tokens. It may attack the turn that it's deployed. So it only really gets effects like, again, the turn that you do play it, but it is a cool little like double unit play, which is kind of rare, especially when you can attack the turn that it is played. So being able to play a 5/5 that also deploys a 2/2 blocker token is not awful either. So I do think that is really, really nice. This also has a link with Athrin, which is another kind of off-color unit and pilot pair as well. So Athrin is the pilot from Starter Deck 4, the red one here. So being able to then make this a 6/7 with the +1/+2, and then when linked during this turn, this unit may attack an enemy active unit that's level 5 or lower as its attack target. So being able to have like this kind of bigger body that's able to attack active units the turn you're playing it, and then either have a 2/2 token that you can attack with again as well, or just have a blocker if you need to. I think it's like a really, really cool way this works. And it also does have the Triple Ship Alliance, which means you do get those additional benefits for the deck. So it's a really cool card, and I really want to build around it. So you'll see one of my builds with it as well. So lastly, we do have the Gundam Aerial rebuild, and I don't know how I feel about this card. And the reason is that like the Academy, like Stelletta Mercury, like it's not, the archetype's just really weird. I feel like it's not fleshed out 100% yet, but it's an archetype where you kind of care about like putting cards into your trash, right? Like we do have like Overflowing Affection, which is a fantastic card that this is, in this card's archetype, but the only archetype it belongs to is just you have to be able to play white as a color. But we've got Stelletta Mercury, right? The fact that you get to get an active resource on attack, and the fact that it's 2 HP is actually really strong. I think that being able to stay healthy and just be like a good attacker is nice. The aerial that we got from Starter Deck 1 is fine, right? The fact that this does let you do some good trades and like have that extra resource open, so then you can play like Unforeseen Incident, or Overflowing Affection to that 1 AP, 1 cost, really helps you out a lot. But you don't really have that much to do, right? Like the first aerial card that we saw from the beta set was this Gundam Aerial, where when there are 4 or more command cards in your trash, this unit gets -2 cost. So that's neat. But then I kind of realize, like most people realize, like that's not really worth like all the effort that you kind of go for it, right? Like it's neat, but it's almost just better to say, oh, I could also just play Michaelis, and then it becomes a 4/4 for free, right? And it costs about the same, right? So I do think that's something that's different, right? It costs 2 all the time versus cost 1 all the time. This also links with any Academy card, so it's weird that they have like this kind of command centered archetype, but we don't really have that many commands that we want to be using, right? The best one that we can use though is the Witch and the Bride, right? So main interaction, you can choose one enemy unit with 5 or less HP, you can return it to its owner's hand. But in the format that we have right now, this card's not super great, right? Like it can buy you some time, but giving it back to your opponent in their hand means that it's going to be healthy, and then they can usually just use it again. So unless like you really need to get rid of it, it's a little bit tricky. But I do think the aerial rebuild is interesting though. I think it could be good later if it's not immediately good. But when paired, choose one command card that is level 5 or lower from your trash. You get to add it to your hand. So clearly this is something that you can use it with Sleta, and then you can get the Witch and the Bride that you put into your trash earlier, and then you get to use it afterwards, right? So not terrible, but also you will notice that this card is not color restricted on the card you get back from your trash, so that can help you get some additional units. I think the biggest thing that this can help you get is it can help you get some additional like just command pilots. So if you need like a link all of a sudden, like that helps you quite a bit. I think in like red, like getting close combat is not bad. I think being able to get like what else, blue has like Signs of Revolution, which is just worse close combat, but you still play the card. We do have like it's weird though, right? There's nothing like I think is like a super good payoff. Maybe like Striker Pack, getting back Striker Pack actually might be nice, being able to just get like another blocker out for 2 that you get from there. That could be good, and just have like this really obnoxious like blocker deck as well. But I don't really see the card that you can abuse with it yet. Like the only other card I've seen is like Show of Resolve. Like, yeah, you can get it back and then you can play it and you get to draw 2. But I don't know if that's worth it quite yet. So it's really interesting. I just feel like the Sleta Mercury cards are just like kind of a little bit everywhere. So it's difficult to kind of like pinpoint on like an actual archetype or what you're trying to do, because like all the Gundam aerial cards don't really synergize that well. So I don't know, this card can be good. It's also just when paired, so like there might be some decks that like randomly put 1 or 2 in just to recycle like a command card. So I think again, like this card can be really broken in the future. I'm just not seeing it quite yet. But yeah, don't let me stop you from playing your academy decks either. It just feels like it's not like a super good boss monster quite yet. So there we go. All right, so those are all of the LRs that we got. We do have these new LRs as well from the Star decks, which you guys probably know about already. But I do kind of want to just end this video going over just kind of some simple upgrade decks for each of the star decks that we have already. And I know a lot of you guys are switching to this point in the video right now, and you're going to be like, oh, this deck is bad. Did Eggman even test it? No, I did not test these decks. And these are just built in the last couple hours when we've got these full deck list, right? I'm not even going to put them on my website. This is just for the video so you guys can have a glimpse of an idea, like a LaCroix flavored idea of what a deck list can look like. I'm going to be doing some more testing in the next couple days. I'm going to make a video when I'm more confident in these builds, but I know you guys want to see some, so here they are as well. So lastly, when I do have confident builds, I will put them on my website. I do have this GD01 beta and set 1 archetype page for it. It's a little bit older because we just haven't had a lot of data lately, but I will be updating this in the next couple weeks. But this is where I'm going to put the decks that I'm confident with once I have them built, so you guys can check them out here. You will not find these exact builds right there. So anyways, we do have the blue and white star deck, and kind of the way that I've decided to upgrade these star decks to is based off the main pilots that we use. So you will see for each one of these 4, they are based off of the 2 pilots that you get from the star decks, and just using links and pairs that are kind of resembles like just support for them. So for this one, I think that star deck 1 is really good sealed, but I also think that the 2 decks just don't really do anything with each other, right? They're just kind of 2 separate archetypes that just exist. And I think if we move forward through it, you probably have to like lean hard into one, and then like maybe just splash a little bit support from another one. But I do think like the new Gundam can be really nice. The fact that this repair 1 is for everything is great. The fact that it lets you draw cards is good. You do miss out on like sometimes like the during pair AP +1 you get from the star deck 1, but with Amuro, you get to make this a 5/4, so you get to get rid of a 5 HP base, and I think that's good enough and can help you out quite a bit too. We do have a good amount of like academy stuff. We do also have like the Choo Choo's Demi Trainer, so the fact that this is a 3/1 is good, and then just the attack is draw 1 and trash 1. This is just like a good effect. Like you don't even have to be playing like the academy stuff. If you've got no better things to do, just play this card in any deck that runs white, because that draw 1 trash 1 is really nice. So we do also have the pilot command that links with it too. Being able to choose an enemy unit with level 4 or lower and give it -2 AP during a main interaction is nice, and the fact that you can have a +1 for that link is nice too. We do also play a couple unforeseen incidents too, so that helps us with that. We do play most of the we're leaning more a little bit on the Earth Federation white base team, and I really like Gun Cannon. This card is really good in the beta format, is one of my favorites, and so being able to kind of use it at like full force again in set 1, I think this is the better of the two. But we also do have the gun tank, which does let you get this additional rest with a unit for HP 2 or less, so that does help you with like the thoroughly damaged. So thoroughly damaged with either of these does let you rest something, and then you can attack with it with either of these, so that is nice. You can even like if we don't want to play any of the specific academy stuff, I could see like 4 of this, 3 of this, and like the 3 or 4 thoroughly damaged is enough to really just like pressure some really good early game. So that might be something that's worth it. So other than that, I think the only other card is the Gundam Faster Act. So this being able to be during link attack, choose one enemy unit, it gets AP -2 during this battle. The fact that you can make this, you can link this with Soletta, so it becomes a 4/6, and then you just do some really good trades is fantastic. And you can also just link it with it's Academy trait link, so you can also use Iron Fisted Disciple here to make this a 4/4 that also attacks very nicely. So I think this card's really good, and probably worth being played in most Academy decks. If this is actually like an archetype, it's probably like the best generic link Academy card that we have right now. So there it is. Next up, we've got the green and blue. So this is focusing on like the Wing Gundam as well as the Tall Geese, and it's leaning more on like the Oz side, but we also are playing like more of some of the hero stuff too. So I think that is something that is nice to see. Specifically, like the Oz package, I think from the set is really nice. We do have the Tragos that we've seen, the Ares, but we also have the Cancer. So this is like a 2 AP and 3 HP. So this does do some, I think, really good trades into cards right now. There also is like some other 2-drops, but I do like this one. We also have the Noins Ares. So destroyed, if you have another Oz unit in play, you get to draw 1. So we have so many Oz units in the early game that it's going to be pretty easy to get this effect off. We also have Zex Leo as well. So when paired, you get to choose one enemy unit with a 3 or less HP, and you get to rest it. So being able to pair or link these Zex with either of these is nice, and the fact that again, like you can rest something and attack into something, and then you get to draw the 1 from Zex is great. We also do have the Wing Gundam Bird mode for just being able to get to ramp into the late game. So you'll see like we have like this early game, we have this late game, but we don't really have this like mid game. So that's kind of the focus of the ramp. We also have the Deep Devotion. This just being like a good pilot command that lets you also like recover 3 HP. It has to be a friendly link unit, so that can be a little bit tough to get sometimes, but also you can just use Noin here with the Ares to be able to get that 3 AP attack, and then it trades and then you get to draw 1. So that is good, though the destroyed effect does not care if you're linked or not, so that is really nice. We do have our Tall Geese, only 3 copies, but I think that's enough. We also have the Wing Gundam. We have 4 copies of this, and the Wing Gundam Zero as kind of a late game. So I don't know if this is good or not, but like this is just putting the pairs together. I think generally like you will notice that most of these are just kind of split down the middle between 2 kind of archetypes. This one I think is more kind of centralized around Oz stuff, but we still have the Wing Gundam stuff. But I think like most decks will probably lean more to one color and then just splash in another color, kind of like how it is in most like multicolor One Piece leaders. So last card is like the Dop, which I really like this card. It's just a 1/1, but guess what? It's the closest thing to consistency that green gets for early, right? Look at the top card of your deck. You can keep it at the top or leave it at the bottom. Either way, it just makes it so you're 1 card more consistent, and it's a 1/1. So like you can still do some good trades with it. And it's Xeon type, which I think is great in its own way too. So I do enjoy this card in the deck as well. So we'll see if this is good. I know a lot of people want Wing Gundam to be good, and we'll have to see if like the Oz pairing with Zex is the way, but there's some really cool like synergies and like draws you get from blue, which is really nice. So there it is. Next up, we've got the Xeon Rush. So this one is not like too much different, I think, from where we were at in the star deck. We just have a couple of support cards. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but we do have the Kashia here being able to pair with a Cyber new type. So when paired, you get to deal 2 damage, or sorry, choose 2 units, deal 1 damage to it. So that's something that you can use with full frontal. Being able to use this to get the pair here, and then and it can be any Cyber new type or new type pilot too. So even you can use like Char and then you can put it onto this, and then you don't get the rush effect, but you do get the damage too. And that is sometimes just enough to just like the little additional damage for it. So it might be lame. You can just put 4 copies of Shinaju here. I think this card's still really great and can get you some good advantage. But I think something that you'll notice mostly from this compared to where like the star deck was, is that our 4 drops are just so good at our 3s and 4 drops are so good at getting extra value, right? Charge Zaku 2. This used to be really good in the beta. I think the other one from the star deck is better, but during Pair Destroyed, you get to deploy 1 rested Char's Zaku 2 AP unit, so that's good. It's only paired too, so you can put full frontal in there, and then you get that additional effect. We have Char Zaku 2, which lets you get draw off the top 3. We have Golf, being able to deploy 1 rested Zaku token when you play it. So, and then we talked about Char's Gelgoog earlier too. So I think that's really great. The only other card we haven't really talked about is Zaku 1 Sniper type. So activate main support 1, but also on deploy. Look at the top card of your deck. If the Xeon or Neon Xeon is Neo Xeon unit type, so it doesn't affect pilots, unfortunately, or bases, but you may reveal it, add to your hand, return any remaining cards to the bottom of your deck. So this can draw you 1, which is good, and can help you there. The support 1 type is okay, and you can link with it with any Xeon trait unit, so this can be good for like Char as well. I do kind of wish that we had maybe we could put 2 copies of Rambo Raw or something in the deck, just to be able to get that additional link with it, with which can also link with the sniper type. But all in all, I think that this can be a really good aggressive deck. There's a lot going on with it, and yeah, I could see this be really obnoxious when we have more copies of our LRs, and it's just man, I could remove the Char Zaku too, but they still get unit, they get not only value, but they get consistency in their good units, and that can be really, really tough as well. So, but we are I think more focused on units in this deck in particular, which is why we're playing 32 and just kind of I would say bare minimum of the rest, but I think that's kind of the way we have to do it. So there it is. And then lastly, we do have the red and white deck. And by red and white, I mean white with a couple of red cards in it. But, this is a deck that I think this is the one that I would be most interested in, really doing some testing and crafting with in the first little bit. I find it's just really, really flexible in what you can do with it. So this is a seed deck. It's a little bit of the triple ship alliance. The only real synergy we get from this one is the M1 being able to get blockers. As long as you have another triple ship alliance unit in play, which should not be too difficult to do, since we do have a lot of them, including the Perfect Strike Gundam, which is triple strike alliance. We also do have the Justice Gundam and the Freedom Gundam, which help you out there as well. So that is really nice. We do have the pilots of Ashran and the Kira. We do also have the Mula Flaga, which this card was doing a lot in the star deck format. I thought this was really nice and handy. It does also link with the Mobius Zero, as well as link with the Perfect Strike Gundam. So it's just not a bad card to run, I find, for any of that. We also do have the Striker Pack, which I don't think I need to explain how good this card is. If you want to play 4 copies of it, you can, but we're just playing with 3 right now. We have the Archangel, which can reset a lot of the cards in this deck, since we do have a lot of blockers. And then I didn't really know what the best next blocker for us was going to be, or a next base, so I just chose Visalis. There might be better red or white bases to play. I just kind of stuck this one in. So I did look at them. I'm I don't feel the only one that I thought we could maybe play, if you're looking at red and white bases, is maybe a copy of the Rilula, right? This card's not bad. It gets an immediate effect, right? It's kind of does the same effect as this one, and we don't really care about the AP of our cards in this deck, so that one might just be better. So you can check that out. But by and large, I think Atherin is really nice, being able to link with the Aegis Gundam. I think this one's just better, if I'm being honest. I know there's the LR that we got from Starter Deck 4 as well, but I find it was a little bit too specific on how it removed cards, and it didn't feel like it was super good. It's if your unit has 5 or more AP, choose one unit that's level 5 or higher, deal 3 damage to it. You play this on turn 4, so and some decks don't really play that many level 5s or higher, so I felt it was kind of weird. It's good for up hitting, turning, converting this into a good trade into a level 5 or 6 card, but I didn't find that helpful as much in the star deck meta. That might change in the set 1 meta, but Aegis Gundam gets value for free, right? It's a 4/6 that you can attack active things the turn you play it, and that's pretty good. I find that that's probably better in preventing like you know, helping you get to the late game a little bit more consistently, and then you get the kind of the rest of your effects. So I don't know. I think this deck is probably fine for what it does too. But again, like there's just so many good like commands, and like I find like white has such a toolbox of stuff that you want to play that's really difficult to really crunch it down to 50 and make it feel good. But here's the build here, and that's going to be it for this one. So again, these are just basic decks. Do not think that these are like end all be all decks. I'm not even confident enough to put it on my own website right yet, but I do know you guys were going to ask about them. So here are my first deck list. We'll get some others in the future as well. But that's going to be it for this one. Let me know what you guys are excited for. Let me know if there's any cards that I should be excited for that I missed in this video. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone's builds in the next couple weeks as well. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.